Hi guys, it's Jackie with Intoxicating Arts, and today I'm going to be making a potion bottle for my Halloween decorations. I'm using this empty Smirnoff bottle. I'm leaving the labels on it. You can pull yours off if you want to, but I will be covering them up, so I'm just going to leave them on this one. And I'm pulling out some of my tissue paper. I decided to go with purple on this bottle because I have a ton of purple tissue paper from an order that I got in the mail, so might as well use that up. And I'm gonna be stamping with Ranger archival ink. It's really important to use a waterproof ink since we'll be decoupaging over this. You don't want your ink to run. This is a Inkadinkadoo stamp set that I had from last year, and I'm gonna be stamping that spider over all of the tissue paper. And first thing I'm going to do is flatten it down. If your tissue paper is already flat, you might want to crumple it and then flatten it because I think it gives it a nice effect. You're going to grab your acrylic block, put your stamp on it, ink it up with the Ranger archival ink, and stamp it all over your piece of tissue paper. You'll want to vary the spacing and also the direction that the spider is going, because I think that makes it look a lot better than having just a line or the same spacing. So just ink that up and stamp the whole piece of tissue paper. And it's best if you have a large enough tissue paper to cover your entire bottle, because you'll see later it actually looks pretty cool if you can get it to cover the whole bottle. So I'm just showing right there I have more than enough, so I'm going to rip off my extra pieces that don't have any stamping on it and start gluing my bottle. So I'm using Claudine Helmuth Studio Multi-Medium Gloss. You can definitely use a matte multi-medium. You could also use Elmer's glue or just pretty much whatever kind of glue you have on hand that's going to dry clear. And I'm applying it to the bottle using a sponge brush, and it was easy for me to do it that way, but you can definitely use a paintbrush or maybe even like a sponge roller, just whatever you have. But this worked out pretty well for me, and I'm just putting it on there pretty liberally. I want to make sure I have some good coverage so my tissue paper has plenty of glue to cling to. So you'll see right here I put it on there and then I started ripping it off, but you don't want to rip it off. If you just adhere it to the main part of the bottle and not the neck of the bottle, you'll be able to get all the way around. But if you start putting it on the neck, then it makes it want to go diagonal and it kind of messes it up. So just keep that in mind. And right here I'm putting an extra piece over this label just because I won't be covering that label up, so I'm covering it up by putting an extra layer of tissue paper over it, and you don't even notice it in the end. Plus that's the back of the bottle, and the way I'm going to be displaying it, it really won't matter. So here I'm just showing what it looks like so far. You can see the spiders in there and it's coming along pretty nicely. So at this point I decided that I would try to put this back where it belonged, and I did a pretty good job getting it lined up. You can't really tell in the end that it was detached and put back together. So again, if you can get it in one full piece, I think it looks pretty good that way. For the bottom, just put some of your multi-medium down, put a piece on it, turn it back over, and then with the weight of its own self and the fact that it's really saturated with the glue, it's kind of soggy and it will just rip right off. And then you can go back over any of the spots that don't look that great with little pieces. That's what I'm doing right here. So I have some clear spots and I'm just covering them up with little pieces. You can't really tell. I think those crinkles in it helps disguise any imperfections and makes it look really cool. Also, the effect I'm going for is kind of, you know, vintage, I guess you could say. This is a Martha Stewart paper pad from a couple Halloweens ago, and I'm going to be die cutting that little green sheet you saw. I'm just making sure that this die will cover up the whole area of that label and it looks like it will. So I'm going to run that through my Big Shot machine. That particular die is from Spellbinder's Labels Majestic number 2. And then my second one that I'm using here is to cover up that smaller label on the bottom. And that one is from S5-147, which I'm showing right now. It's a really nice set. So S5-147 for that set. And just die cut both of those out of that green spider paper. And I'll be making them look a little more aged using the black soot distress ink because they look really clean and nice right now, and that's fine for some projects, but I wanted this to be possible to look kind of spooky because some of my other bottles that I'm gonna make are gonna be brown and like scary looking, so I wanted it to kind of match that, and I wanted it to look kind of majestic. So right here I'm just running the paper through my fingers to curve it so it'll be easier to put on the bottle when I glue it down. So you can see right there it's easy to put on there. But then I remembered that I should probably stamp or put my stickers on before I put it on the bottle. So this sticker set is really, really old. I got it from Michael's forever ago, and I thought these letters looked kind of spooky. So I decided this would be my arsenic bottle. And I'm starting from the middle, working my way outwards to try to have that as centered as possible. And just putting my stickers down. Moving on to the next one now. This is a little alphabet set from Hampton Art that I found at Walmart. And then I'm using StazOn ink because StazOn is also waterproof. And I will be stamping out "It's to Die For," and that's my secondary label that kind of explains what is in the bottle. And you can see that's what it looked like in the end. It's obviously freehand stamping, it's not perfect. And I will be using glossy accents to glue these on. I love glossy accents for gluing things, especially if it's like circular like this, cylindrical, because it dries really fast. So you just hold it down with your hand for about 10 seconds and it's already dried on there. So at this point I was admiring my bottle and I realized that parts of it were gloss and parts of it were not. And so I went back over the whole thing with my multimedia, and that's because some of it I went back over the top with the gloss, and then some of it I didn't go over the top of it. So I just went over the whole thing to make it all the same, and I think it looks nice in the end. It'll also make it last a couple years because it's all sealed in there. I think it would be awesome to put some clear lights in here and have it illuminate those spiders, and it might even cast the spiders onto the wall. I think that would be awesome. So that might be something I'm going to do. I plan on making more of these, so I will make videos if I do. And I thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye!